Ooh. Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, so if I stumble over my words moving forwards, I apologise about that, and also if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well. If there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it cannot be helped, and hopefully it is not too much of an issue for you. This is yet another Eurovision 2022 related video here on my channel, and you've seen the title of this, so you know what I'm going to be talking about. Prepare yourselves, because it's probably going to be another repetitive, long-winded ramble from me. Before I do get into the main point of this video, I should say there are links in the description as always to my other social media pages, check them out if you so wish. And also, I've filmed videos like this in the past, but this time, with this video, for some reason I'm expecting a bit more of a backlash. I don't know why, I just am. If you are the sort of person who's clicked on this video purely to leave a comment saying that my opinions are rubbish, that I don't know what I'm talking about, that the song is overrated, and you should be talking about somebody else, blah 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 blah. If you're just going to go about it in what comes across to me as quite a forceful, rude, perhaps offensive manner, those comments aren't going to stick around for too long. It's completely fine if you disagree with me and you go about it in a fairly nice, understanding manner. But if you are one of those so-called Eurovision fans who is only out there to criticise, and do it in perhaps quite a harsh way, those comments will be gone. Haven't got the time for them. Anyway, hopefully you can appreciate what I'm trying to say in this video, the title of which is Why Sweden Should Win Eurovision 2022. I haven't really prepared anything for this video, so it is going to be a big ramble, but I want to make it clear that this is not a prediction. I'm not sitting here now saying that I think Sweden are going to win next month. I don't even make a prediction for the grand final until the day before it actually happens. That will be up on my channel next month, by the way. But 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago now, my goodness, I made a video called Why the Netherlands Should Win Eurovision 2019. That's the most successful video on my channel, I think, and it just so happened that Duncan Lawrence did go on and win. I made a video called Why Switzerland Should Win Eurovision 2020, even though the pandemic came along, and then I made a video last year about Italy and why they should win, and it just so happened that they did. So, this year, I've thought about it very carefully. I didn't even know if I was going to film a video like this, and I want to make it clear there will be another video like this very soon where I talk about one other country, because I was really torn between two this year, I have to say. But first up, Sweden. So we know the song, of course we know the song, we've all heard it. It is Cornelia Jacobs with Hold Me Closer. So, obviously, representing Sweden, you have to win Melodifestivalen first, which is quite a difficult thing to win, especially if you haven't really come close to winning it in the past. So when the list of participants was announced, I think a lot of people gravitated towards Clara Hammarström and Liamu and Anna Bergendahl and Robin Bengtsson, all of these names that have been involved quite a bit over the past few years. Cornelia Jacobs' name was there, of course, and I would be highly surprised if anybody saw her name, Hold Me Closer, the songwriters, all of that business, if anybody saw that and thought, yeah, I think she might win. I'd be shocked. And then, obviously, we found out the semi-finals and who was going to be performing when, and Cornelia was going to be in the first semi-final, the very first show of this year's Melfest, back in February, I think it was. And we heard a snippet of the song, and then she performed it on that Saturday night, and she went directly through to the final. How many people saw that coming? Robin Bengtsson was in that heat, and I saw his name and I thought, well, I think we all know who's winning this semi-final. But no, Cornelia came along, and I think maybe surprised many people with the fact that she went through directly to the final. And then that momentum just grew and grew. And not just within Sweden, but outside Sweden as well. And that's the big thing here. People from across Europe were suddenly hearing this song and getting on board with it, including myself here in the UK. Whereas Robin, who did also go through directly to the final, I didn't see many people talk about his song at all, and it didn't seem to grow in any popularity whatsoever. And then we had Heat 2, Heat 3, Heat 4, the Second Chance Round, which is not called the Second Chance Round anymore, but you know what I'm on about. All of those shows took place, but it was still Hold Me Closer. That was the song that people were talking about. And that is clearly a really good sign that your song could be onto something special, because if you perform it in week 1 and the next time you're performing it live to the nation is in the final about a month later, to have that sort of buzz still attracted to your track is only a good thing, surely. So there she was. She performed the hell out of it at the Friends Arena. Was it the Friends Arena? Was that where the final was? I think it was, wasn't it? Yes. The Friends Arena in Stockholm. And it was really good, and it was seen as a straightforward battle between her and Anders Bagger. Anders, big star, really likeable guy in Sweden, very recognisable figure. He sort of had one hand on the trophy already, you could say, because he was almost certainly going to win the public vote. And he did, quite comfortably. But because Bigger Than the Universe failed to attract a lot of love from the international juries, Cornelia said thank you very much and took the trophy home instead. As I said in a video I made quite a while ago now, Bigger Than the Universe, ultra cliched. Nothing wildly original, and you could say Hold Me Closer is nothing wildly original. I completely get that if you think that. But Bigger Than the Universe was just riddled with cliches. It was a very static performance. It was almost as if it was trying so hard to tick many of the stereotypical Eurovision boxes, if you see what I mean, in terms of lyrics, in terms of the soaring melody, in terms of the big vocals, you know, all of this stuff. It was almost as though the track was recorded and written specifically to pander to the jury vote in Turin had it actually won Melfest in the first place. I'm glad the song did not come out on top, because I think Bigger Than the Universe, I don't think it would have pushed for the win at all. Whereas Hold Me Closer surely will. Here we have a woman who just sort of came out of nowhere and surprised people, and I think that's wonderful. It wasn't predictable when the list of participants was announced. And I think one of the big reasons why this song is so well liked, and I have to say, I haven't seen this much love for a Swedish entry since Euphoria. Now, I'm not going to get into that whole debate about whether Euphoria is better than Hold Me Closer or not. It probably is. But what I'm trying to say here is that it's been a long time since there was this much attention and love going towards a Swedish track. It's very odd in a way. Last year, Voices by Tusse won Melfest so comfortably, but most of the comments that I saw online were from people saying that it's, you know, mid-table in the final, I don't see this pushing for the win, I think it's probably Sweden's weakest entry for a while, blah blah blah, and he ended up in mid-table. Cornelia, though, is surely going to do a lot better. I think why people enjoy this song so much is because of how intimate it is. You are invested right from the very start of this track. And I think whereas over the past few years there's been that disconnection between viewer, listener, and the performer in question, that's maybe why Sweden hasn't done incredibly well in the public vote for the past few years. This year that might change, because it's like a diary entry, and we've been invited to take a look for 3 minutes. Or you could view it a different way. You could say that it's an intrusion, and we're not really supposed to be there listening to Cornelia sing. No, no. And then obviously when the song finishes, the spotlight goes out, and it's like we were never there in the first place. Shh. You could interpret it 2 different ways. But at the start of this performance, which will almost certainly be the same next month, I don't see any reason why they change it, and we know that Sweden like to do a copy-paste scenario more often than not. The camera's right there in front of her at the start. And she's just pouring her heart out. I don't know how personal this track is, but clearly there is that connection between artist and the lyrics. And you can see it, you can feel it. Even if you're watching on TV next month, you'll be able to understand right away that this is quite a serious track with a serious message, and clearly it's going to pack a bit of a punch. Then the instrumentation starts to swell, the first chorus kicks in, and all of a sudden the vocals are so much more powerful and louder, but she's not really belting it out. If anything, this whole track, it's not really going for it, really hammering the message home. It's not that sort of song, really. It's just reined in a touch. It's a fine line, but if Cornelia was really dramatically going for this, it would feel different, it would look different, it would sound different, and maybe it wouldn't be as enjoyable to listen to, potentially. The fact that it's just on the right side of emotionally charged, raw, honest, personal, all of those other words that you want to use, it just gives that song a little bit of magic, I think. And then, obviously, in the second verse, just when it seems as though this song is going to be a straightforward ballad, and I'm thinking ahead to next month, a lot of people will be listening to this song for the very first time. They won't have a clue what's about to hit them round the face. So when that second verse comes in, right when you think it might be a straightforward ballad, boom, she throws her head back, and suddenly there's this, beat in the background. It's got more momentum to it. You know that we're building up to something pretty good now. And it builds up, and then the instrumentation swells again. And then we have that final chorus, which is just somebody really pouring their heart out at this point, And there's that moment where Cornelia reaches out to somebody in the crowd, which she might well do again next month. And that's what I mean by this sort of invitation. You are invited to listen to this pain and maybe connect with it as well. So many people will connect with the lyrics of this song. Right one at the wrong time, best I ever had, tomorrow will hurt, I think she sings. All of this, relatable lyrics to so many people. I saw a comment online ages ago, and I don't know who said it, I think it was on Twitter. But somebody said why this song maybe won't connect or isn't connecting with a lot of young listeners is because they've never been through what this song is on about. They've never been through a sort of heartbreak. They've never been through that anguish, that suffering, that torment, all of those words. Now, I don't know whether I agree with that, but maybe it's worth mentioning. Maybe older listeners can resonate with this more. The lyrics are more impactful. You can listen to them and say, yeah, I've been there, Cornelia, I've been there. Whereas if you're, 15, maybe there is that sort of slight disconnection and you can't really appreciate the lyrics and you're more on the fence about the song. I don't know. My God, I am rambling a lot here. I did warn you. Anyway, Sweden's not the only song this year that has that sort of intimacy to it. We've got the Dutch entry, we've got the Greek entry, we've got the Portuguese entry. And you can say the same things about those tracks as you can about Hold Me Closer. We are invited for 3 minutes to listen to this very precious, beautiful track. You've got the Dutch entry, De Diepte, which has this sort of gloomy undertone, and it's in Dutch, and it's a beautiful song. And then you've got the Greek entry, which starts off pretty much entirely a cappella. There's nothing else to focus on besides the vocals, and Hold Me Close is the same. Apart from that rotating disc on stage, there's nothing. There's nothing to focus on but the lyrics, but the voice, but the performer. And I know this might sound a bit strange, but it's the Eurovision Song Contest. And Sweden is all about the song. There's nothing gimmicky. The lyrics aren't tongue-in-cheek or maybe veering into silly territory. It's a very serious effort. And the juries will go massive for this. They usually do for Sweden anyway, but this year I think Sweden are going to do very, very well with the juries. And if that momentum that is already there with the public, if that ends up sort of going across to neutral viewers and listeners next month as well, That could be a lot of points too. Sweden pushing for the 7th win, tying with Ireland. It really could happen. I don't think anybody should be surprised if Sweden win. I mean, a lot of the favourites this year aren't really gimmicky or riddled with silly lyrics or things like that. You know, the Italian track is a very touching ballad between two guys. The Ukrainian track, that's not really gimmicky at all. It's this nice blend of traditional and sort of hip-hop sounds. Australia's up there in the odds, I believe, and that's a very serious ballad that is considerably more emotionally charged than the Swedish entry, in my opinion. Poland's up there. There's nothing really bizarre about that track whatsoever. So, yeah, I think the thing is, will enough people really connect with this Swedish entry? Or is there going to be that feeling of, oh, it's fine, she sings well, and she's got this I haven't even mentioned her voice, she's got this sort of raspy tone to her vocals, which I think is really nice. You know, it makes it feel more heartfelt, it makes it feel more gut-wrenching in a way. And, you know, I get the feeling that Cornelia would be a really good rock singer as well, because she's got that little bit of grit to her voice as well. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, because we've got quite a few songs that are in the same vein this year, I mean, will Sweden stand out more than Greece? Will Sweden stand out more than the Netherlands? Will Sweden stand out more than Australia, Poland, Italy, all of these other fairly low-key tracks? I don't know. The running order could play a part. But there's no doubt about it, a top 6 finish is looking exceptionally likely. And for me, I know I'm repeating myself, but I appreciate that intimacy. I appreciate that honesty. I appreciate the fact that this just feels so simple and effective. I'm so glad that they haven't gone massive with the staging. And that performance in the Melfest final, even the semi-final, if you've seen it, it's shot in a very natural manner. It doesn't feel messy, but it just feels a lot more raw. You know, it's not as slick. It's not as full of quick cuts with the camera angles, and it's not like we've got loads of wide shots or anything like that necessarily. This is an intimate track, so keep it up close. You know, Portugal, the performance of Saudade Saudade in Festival de Canção, that was excellent. That really did feel like such an intimate performance. And I'm hoping that Hold Me Closer, they haven't made too many drastic changes for next month. Just keep it as it is. People will enjoy it. We know that she can sing. She had a great response at the London pre-party. Was it? Yes, she did perform in London. It was the other one she had COVID and couldn't perform. But yes, I'm really rambling now, so I'm going to shut up. This has actually been a pretty damn poor video, I won't lie to you. But it would be a statement victory, wouldn't it, if Sweden were to win for a 7th time, and a 3rd time in a decade. That's really saying to every other country, look, yeah, you can say that Melfest isn't as strong as it used to be, but look, we're still producing the goods. And if you take a look at Sweden's results, 2012 won, 2013 mid-table, still not bad, 2014 top 3, 2015 won, 2016 top 6, 2017 top 6, 2018 top 6, 2019 top 6, 2020 probably would have been top 6, 2021 mid-table, still not bad. The last time Sweden had a very poor result was in 2010. And that's over a decade ago. And certainly if I was a Swedish Eurovision fan, I'd be thrilled at the knowledge that before even any of the Melfest tracks are out, my country's probably on course to get a really fantastic result yet again. I don't know. I think people will just appreciate the simplicity of this. They'll appreciate the message of this. They'll be able to resonate and connect with the lyrics and with Cornelia as a performer. She works the camera so well. It's just this sort of track that you'd play late in the night, maybe with a glass of wine or something like that, and you're just thinking about somebody you used to know and what could have been, and you're singing Hold Me Closer. I'm getting those sorts of vibes, I really am. So, to conclude what has been a massive ramble and a half, why should Sweden win? Just because it's a really lovely track with a really great singer, somebody who is in total control of the performance, somebody who has this connection with the lyrics, somebody who's really trying to get the message of the lyrics across to the listener, whoever they are. She is addressing you right from the very start of this song. And then the instrumentation, as I said earlier, it builds up, but it's not over the top. It just becomes this more powerful, emphatic track over the course of the 3 minutes. And a good place in the running order, a ton of jury love, and more public love for Sweden than we've seen in recent years. If that love that's already there goes across to people listening to this song for the first time next month as well, it could be a record-equaling 7th victory. I'm not making any prediction here, but I think Sweden could be on course for at least a top 6, if not top 3 result, if not winning. And nobody should be surprised if that turns out to be the case. I think even if you don't really enjoy this track, there are things to appreciate about it. There are songs that I'm not so keen on this year, but I always try and see the positives in them. So even if Sweden's not your favourite, and I know it's not a favourite for a lot of people out there, maybe you can appreciate the lyrics, maybe you can appreciate the melody, maybe you can appreciate the honesty, the intimacy, the staging, the atmosphere. Even if it's something very small, maybe you can appreciate something. And I don't know. If this is sandwiched between 2 really expressive up-tempo tracks in the grand final, I don't think Sweden are damaged by that. Because let's say you've got Give That Wolf a Banana, and then you've got Hold Me Closer, and then you've got, I don't know, something else that's really, really expressive. Eat Your Salad, for example. That would be a very, very odd segment of the show. But let's say that you have those 3 songs in succession. You'll have a lot of people who appreciate Give That Wolf a Banana and see it as very fun and very, maybe very silly, but a very enjoyable 3 minutes nevertheless. And those people who don't enjoy that might really love Hold Me Closer. And then Eat Your Salad, they'll be like, oh, this is not for me. So Hold Me Closer will stand out the most of the 3. And thinking ahead about the jury vote, the juries might look at Give That Wolf a Banana and think, oh, this is way too silly. They might look at Eat Your Salad and think, this is way too silly. Hold Me Closer, on the other hand, why, hey, that's more up our street. Now, the likelihood of 3 songs like that being together in a running order is exceptionally slim. I'm just, giving you an example here, that if Cornelia was between 2 really up-tempo expressive tracks, I don't think she would be damaged. I really don't. Because a lot of people are going to really enjoy this, whereas they might not enjoy some of the other more, flashy numbers that we've got this year. Even some of the other ballads. Brividi might leave a lot of people feeling very cold. They might not be able to connect with this whatsoever. Plus it's in Italian. And not everybody knows Italian. And then you've got De Diepte. Not everybody knows Dutch. And that might leave people feeling a bit cold as well. I know these seem like really cruddy excuses, but who knows, it could happen. And then you've got Die Together, which people might find too miserable. It's called Die Together. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. These seem like really minor things, but you never know, it could play a part. It could play a part as to why Hold Me Closer might do better than those other songs I've just mentioned. It's such a beautiful, lovely melody that builds up nicely. It's not over the top. It's intimate, it's personal, it's emotional without going really massive in that department. Cornelia sings it well, totally in control of the track. Sweden are finally sending a woman, and, you know, even if this was an entry for any other country, it would be, surely, a favourite to win. And if Sweden were to win this year, I'd be perfectly fine with that. Yes, it would mean that next year Eurovision's in Sweden again, but we know they can host very well. So no, I wouldn't be too fussed if Sweden won this year. It is my personal favourite of the year, but that's not why I'm talking about this track necessarily. I do think Sweden should be pushing for the win, and I know a lot of other people think that as well, and I can see it happening, absolutely. I don't really have anything else to say. I'm not very happy with how this video has turned out, but then again, when I think about the videos about the Netherlands, Switzerland and Italy like this, they weren't particularly, you know, they weren't particularly great videos either. I rambled in those too. Anyway, I'm going to upload this now. But yeah, that's why Sweden should win Eurovision 2022. Because, unlike in previous years, so many people across Europe are already on board with this track. And there hasn't been that love for a Swedish entry by the public that I've seen for a long time. And if that love also comes from people listening to Hold Me Closer for the first time next month, then surely this is on course to do very, very well indeed. The atmosphere, this could be really beautiful on stage in Turin. With the way the stage is going to look, it could be really, really beautiful. It could be a real moment. It could be a showstopper. It could be something that just makes people well up and think, wow, that was a really beautiful 3 minutes. That's great stuff. It could happen. Anyway, that's it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, if you are Swedish or not. Doesn't really matter. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. As I said at the start, I'm hoping that there isn't too much of a backlash about this video, but I suppose you do run the risk at this time of year with regards to anything Eurovision related, that you might get some negativity coming your way. Anyway, I'll be back at some point soon with another video just like this one. Still don't know whether I'm actually going to film it, but I think I will, talking about another country and why they should win Eurovision 2022. And who knows, maybe in that video I won't repeat myself so damn much. Anyway, if you've stuck with me for nearly half an hour, I really appreciate it. Like I said, this is not a prediction. This is not me saying Sweden are going to win. It's so obvious. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm not saying that whatsoever. This is just me giving you my thoughts once again, and we'll see what happens next month. We'll wait and see, that's all we can do. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and stay safe. Bye for now. Cheers.